Hello, Garrett here, come to give you the trigger warnings. Polar Nights is a psychological horror visual novel that shows descriptions of death, flashing imagery, loud ringing sounds, blood, and smoking. Viewer discretion is advised.
So I do know it opens without visuals, like completely.
Ah, sure.
So it's just kind of narration.
Oh, it's just
I don't know if you
okay.
want to do the narration.
I'll do the narration.
All right.
The wolf couldn't see anything through the blizzard. Beyond the windshield was just a thick flurry of white.
So we're in a car.
We're in a car. But then he didn't have a destination in mind anyway. Just away from there. He had one hand pressed tightly to his abdomen, trying to compress the wound there. The other gripped the steering wheel tightly. A mix of adrenaline and the extreme cold disguised the pain. He was surprised he even managed to get to the snow truck running and driving away from that madness. His eyes glanced at the glove compartment. Maybe he should just throw it out into the snow. Drive away from this.
Ooh. Should I voice this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Seriously? After all of that, you're gonna fuck everyone over to save your own skin?
The wolf ignored him. His companion sitting in the passenger seat. Engaging was pointless. His ears pinned back and fangs bared, partly from the anger, but mostly from the pain in his belly. And yet, shame bubbled within him. How could he think of breaking his promise?
I'm not surprised, to be fair. It's all you ever do.
Again, the wolf didn't respond. A flash of agony shot through him, reminding him of his grave wound. He grimaced and cried out, but his cries was followed by an awful sputtering sound. Ooh. The sputtering continued until the engine fell silent, the vibration of the truck ceasing. The wolf sat there, staring at the dashboard in a mix of bewilderment and accusation, as if he could shame the machine into starting up again. He glanced at the fuel gauge. Empty. How? How could he have overlooked it? His departure had been hurried, to say the least. That had not have been the luxury of properly preparing. After an awkward pause, the wolf threw a frustrated tantrum, cursing and slamming his fists against the wheel, kicking the footwell and screaming.
This isn't helping, you know.
The wolf only barely resisted a furious snarl at the other figure, reining in his anger in order to slump forward, head against the wheel and eyes closed. Tears rolled down his muzzle. The journey had lasted maybe 10 minutes at most. He couldn't have traveled more than a couple of kilometers. All of that effort and sacrifice just to fail within walking distance?
There's a first aid kit in the back. You look like you need it.
The voice snapped him back out of his misery. His eyes flicked open, not aware of just how tired he was. Yeah. How the steering wheel of this Altarian truck might as well have been the fluffiest pillow ever. As his awareness flowed back, the stench of iron in the cabin made him gag. He knew the source. He brought his trembling hand up to his face. Though the redness was hard to make out against the black fabric of his glove, the soaked glistening told him it was saturated with his blood. Everything felt distant, like he was drunk. And God, did he know what drunkenness felt like? He reached into the glove box, his trembling hand brushing that cursed thing to grasp the flare he'd been given. Regardless of anything else, he needed to warn them. To tell them he failed. Maybe they come from him. The wolf reached his trembling, blood-soaked hand into the door and, after a brief pause, opened it. He stumbled out of the cabin, not bothering to close it after him. Something told him that there was no point. Bracing himself against the side, he staggered through the knee-high snow, still keeping pressure on his wound, though now it was more of a token act. He couldn't see more than a foot or so in any direction. Instead, he placed a hand against the truck's side, using it to guide him to the back. Upon reaching the rear door, he had to pause for a moment. The howl of the blizzard saturated his mind, drowning out his thoughts. He brought the flare up, preparing to activate it. And then, just like that, his weak, trembling hands let it slip from his grasp, The buffering wind and snow instantly carried it out of his field of vision. Oh, I think this is him.
Yeah, this is the wolf.
Oh,
Do you want to voice the wolf?
sure, why not? Fuck! No! He dropped to his knees, glancing around frantically as he dug at the snow for the flare. Without it, the others would have no way of knowing he needed to be guided back. He clawed desperately at the thick snow, feeling his ability to move wane as the cold cut through his jacket and trousers and sucked the warmth from his already weakened body. Gazing at the snow, illuminated by the rear headlights of the truck, he slowed to and stopped, breathing heavily as his blood-soaked hands carved red swatches in the snow. He stared at the crimson streaks, realizing he was never going to find the flare. No! He threw back his head and let out a loose and primal feral lupine howl of rage and despair into the unceasing blizzard. He stared into the inky blackness, only slightly penetrated by the taillights. They didn't stretch more than a few meters into the blizzard. He could probably try to return the way he came, but he couldn't have made the journey back, even if he wanted to. He turned, half crawling back towards the rear doors of the truck and the only shelter around. The cold barely registered anymore. He felt his legs were moving on automatic. He pawed clumsily for the door handles. He missed them several times, his vision feeling oddly blurred. Was it the cold? The snow buffeting his face?
I would wager that it's the blood that he's losing.
Probably, yeah. Finally, his hands reached the handles and gripped them, yanking them open. The cargo compartment was almost entirely empty. They'd not had the time to stock it. He turned to gaze back where he came from. He scanned for the glowing crimson of the return flare, but there was nothing. They'd agreed to wait for 2 hours before popping flares to guide them back. Far too long. Far too late. With Herculean, thank you. With Herculean effort, he hauled himself up out of the snow, dragging his body inside the cargo compartment. He turned, reaching for the door once again and pulling them shut. Just like that, the blizzard dropped from an ear-shattering howl to a dull roar. My entire face is vibrating.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From how loud the
No,
audio-
not loud. Like just the context of what's happening.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like dread. As the wolf regained his bearings, the pain in his belly made him cry out, bringing tears to his eyes. He scanned the interior, looking for a first aid kit, and saw it on the sidewall. His stomach lurched as he felt the wetness of his own blood soaking his entire abdomen. He reached a trembling hand for it, his fingers brushing the surface of the plastic container, but then
It's gonna
his
be
legs
empty.
faltered. Yeah. And he stumbled, his hand grasping for purchase. The kit tore off the wall as he toppled forward onto the crates on the floor. Ooh. The impact knocked any remaining breath out of him and left him paralyzed. His pain cry came out as a strangled gargle. The kit crashed to the floor, spilling its contents everywhere. He laid on his belly, one hand stretched out desperately for the roll of bandages, but he no longer had the strength to move. No. God, please. I don't want to die. Mom, Images of Mom came flooding into his mind, filling him with a yearning and an ache more intense than any wound. He'd given anything just to see her, to hug her, to tell her. I'll do
Connor.
it. Connor? Ooh.
Connor, I need to hear you say the words.
The figure spoke up behind him. He couldn't see him, but he could hear the bitterness, the mocking tone.
I need to hear you say it, Connor. What you should have said to me and Mum before you abandoned us.
Connor finally sagged. His limbs were numb and his vision was fading.
Connor, say it.
His vision went dark, closing in. What little strength he had left abandoned him as he receded, his consciousness a flickering light in the encroaching darkness. I'm sorry. Garrett. Oh my god. Why
Whoa!
that was so? What the fuck is
That
that
was such a
starting
raw
sequence?
opening.
Oh my god, Thursday. I'm crying. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god, Cuffy knows how to cry on command, but like this just happened out of nowhere. Oh my god. Give me a second. Jesus
Just
Christ.
immediately sadness.
That was such a great opening. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was really well written.
That was. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh. Oh my god. Clutching the 3 packs of cigarettes, I ambled over to the counter while the bored-looking bull cashier watched me.
Oh fuck,
Is
that's
it's
French.
It's French. Dat à
Edit à-
Deauville? Edit à Deauville?
I think it's edit à TV.
I gave him a blank look. Oh, it's Norwegian. I didn't speak Norwegian.
I don't know how to speak Norwegian.
Oh no! That really did hit hard. Sure hope this sets the pace for the rest. Oh no!
Oh.
He rolled his eyes, likely dealing with non-speakers on a frequent basis.
We go from like a gruesome description of
Buying
like of
cigarettes?
a man dying to just I'm buying cigarettes.
I'm buying cigarettes at a Norwegian shop, and I speak no Norwegian whatsoever. So you want to be the cashier?
Sure. Will that be all?
He enunciated clearly like I was deaf, so I was like, "Will that be all?"
Yeah.
Why'd it go southern? Stop it! We're not there. Why?
Whenever you speak slowly, you just gotta
It
use
goes
the southern.
into southern. Will that be all, sir? He enunciated clearly like I was deaf, stifling the urge to tell him to stick his attitude. I gave him a nod. Told me the cost. My ears twitched. Much cheaper than Britain. I was tempted to grab another couple packs and also maybe to fuck with him a bit. But I decided against it. I didn't want to take the piss. Or to have him kick me out, smokeless. I pulled a wad of Norwegian kroner out of my pocket, rifling through them before separating out a few crisp notes and placing them before the cashier.
So
Oh, it's
hold
Garrett.
your arm. You speak something. You gotta hold your R and your Y. Oh, this is fucking Garrett.
This is Wait. Oh. I get. No, you did Connor.
No, I did Garrett.
I did Connor, so you do
Yeah,
Garrett.
you did Connor. Yeah,
So you have to read the eyes. The eyes is you.
Garrett is British.
Damn.
So I can try to do that accent if you would like.
You can attempt it, or you
Here.
can do whatever accent you want.
Cheers, pal.
You want to?
I gave him a brief smile and nod, but he didn't return it. Simply handed me my change. I slipped them into my pocket before turning awkwardly, my large backpack making it hard to maneuver through the slightly cramped store.
Is that how you spell maneuver, or is that with the accent? 'Cause, like my dyslexia is
That's-
just telling me like that's not
that is
spelled right.
I'm pretty so in the Queen's English, that is how you spell maneuver. It's maneuver.
Oh my god.
I turned carefully to avoid sweeping the tightly packed shelves and marched to the door.
Everyone's just gonna
Here's
end
our
up being
first.
southern.
Here's our first shot. By the way, we're about to see what Garrett looks like.
Hey yo.
I pulled open my pack of smokes from my pocket, fumbling for my lighter in the other pocket. There's
Ooh,
Garrett.
damn. This is the image I'm gonna screenshot, re-edit, and just put your face.
Is this? You gonna put me on that?
No. What just happened?
Don't make me a smoke. How did you vanish the thing?
Oh, I think I was trying to. I took a screenshot. I'm like taking a screenshot real quick, just for later.
Yep.
Oh my god. All right, so let's see. Okay, so that's the scene. All right, go ahead.
My prized possession. Even before I started smoking, it's the only thing I have of my granddad, an Ellison Sports Elite, which I'm assuming is his jacket?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Maybe. It says Adventure of 1895.
Hollow, please don't associate the image of the smoker with me.
Don't worry, I'll change it to like a vape pen.
Using my lips, I pull a smoke from the pack, stuffing it back in my pocket as I bring up my lighter, shielding it using my other hand from the frigid wind.
Ooh.
Immediately it caught. The tip of my smoke started to glow, and I inhaled. The welcome, calming rush of nicotine flooded into me. After a full breath, I flicked the lighter close, tilted my head back, and after a moment, exhaled. The smoke mixed with the sub-zero wind and... Wait, huh?
Sub-zero wind and turn into a billowing cloud.
Okay, I think it's supposed to be winded and turned into a billowing cloud. Whatever. Turned into a billowing cloud. Hot breath and fumes mixing with the frigid air. This time of year, Longyearbyen could be pretty much summarized as dark and cold. As my boots crunched in the snow, I realized that for all we Scots...
He's
like to-
Scottish?
He's Scottish. I've been doing the wrong accent this entire time.
They don't tell us anything.
We're from Scotland.
Oh my god. Thank God I'm not voicing this. I would have done a horrible Scottish accent. Oh my gosh.
I can actually do a Scottish pretty okay.
Let's
This
go.
place was truly something else.
My accent just changed to like 3 different versions of itself.
My accent changed 3 different times, but don't worry about that. Don't even worry a thing about that. That's just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Words of Soldier TF2, Englishmen in a dress. And yet,
Let's
I had
go.
to admit, sullen cashier notwithstanding, I liked it. I liked the cold, the snow, the quiet. Only a couple thousand people lived here, and yet it didn't come across as a ghost town. Just peaceful. Not like Glasgow. I was fond of my hometown, but it could also be a madhouse at all times of the day. It was the only place I knew that had a McDonald's that needed bouncers because of the nutters who came out at night.
A bouncer from McDonald's. It's a crazy thought.
That is actually a wild concept.
Like even with like where I used to live as a kid, like it was a bad neighborhood, but like they never had a
McDonald's
bouncer
just
at
kind of
McDonald's.
exists.
Yeah, they just kind of exist there as a neutral
bad?
area.
How bad is Glasgow?
Well-
I've been to Glasgow. Wait a minute, it's not that bad.
Well, this is a good time to say, Granny Comfy, just put like all the crimes in Glasgow that happened.
Just put up the crime statistics of Glasgow,
Yeah,
Scotland.
right there.
On
Have
screen.
Jemmy point at all of it.
I can make you a render of my 3D model, just like pointing at things.
Yes. Well, we'll definitely not use it for other things. Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
oh my
I'm
god, wait,
sure you
what,
will.
do you know that Spider-Man meme that's going around? Like, they're just like, it's the pointing, like the Spider-Woman just like pointing at everything. It's just
No,
that.
I don't think I have.
Oh my god. Yeah, all right. Oh my god. Bouncers at
Ooh, a new
McDonald's.
background.
Oh,
Look at
wait.
that street. That is a cool looking town.
This is an actual town. They just blurred the image, and I hear footsteps.
Do you?
Yeah, there's like slight, like you can. It's like
Oh
slightly
yeah, like
there.
behind the music you can hear it.
Wait, should we wait? Also, I like it's only translated in Russian and English.
Yeah.
There's only
which is
2
kinda fun.
things: Russian and English. All right, let's go.
I shoved my hands in my pockets and kept the smoke sit between my lips, drawing on it occasionally. The meeting spot was just up the road. Maybe a 10-minute walk for all the thick, warm gear. I was still feeling the chill. Longyearbyen, the largest settlement on Svalbard, a Norwegian archipelago near the Arctic. The northernmost settlement on Earth. Is that actually true? Hold on, I'm looking that up.
Wait, this
Longyearbyen. Is that
No.
like actually
is it?
true?
Is this an actual place?
Longyearbyen.
More info.
municipality in Svalbard. Yeah, that's
Wow.
actually, it's actually in Svalbard.
Ooh.
So like whether it's the northernmost settlement, I'm not sure, but that is a real place.
Wow. What if this is just based off a true story and they just turn it into furries?
That'd be wild. I'm gonna look up after we're done.
Yeah.
Longyearbyen boat disappearance.
Yes. Granny Comfy, just put it up in like the edit. See if it's true, just
Yeah.
put it up there. If it's not, Put Jemmy in a maid
Wild if this is
outfit.
based on- What?
yes. Continue.
On the other side of the road, walking further into town, were a pair of men who had rifles slung about their shoulders. Pretty crazy feature of Svalbard is that residents are required to have firearms if they leave the settlement into the wilderness for protection from polar bears.
It's just a pile of dead polar bears somewhere.
Probably. Although they can't carry loaded firearms within the settlement itself, it was still odd to me to see guns being carried in the open.
There's no open carry in Scotland, right? In Glasgow.
I don't believe so. There might be concealed, but I don't think open.
Okay.
I don't know foreign gun laws.
This is just a lot of things. Just like, eh.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like cultural things that are happening that I have no idea
We
about.
have no
Even though,
clue,
even though
but
I've been to
Granny
Scotland.
Granny
Yeah.
Comfy knows
Granny
it.
Comfy can learn these. Can
They
look
know
up these
it.
Things.
They
Yep.
can look this up. I could just, yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they glanced over at me, and I averted my gaze. I heard mumbling, followed by a harsh laugh. I probably looked like a tourist or something. I tugged my dark fringe down a little. Fortunately, my left eye was on the opposite side to them.
A cool
If
looking
you
scar.
remember, if you remember, the left eye is like pure white.
So cool.
By the time I arrived outside the cafe, my smoke was almost finished. I glanced inside the window, trying to see if anyone was there.
Just imagine the cafe was just only like a few feet away, and he just inhaled the cigarette.
Can we make the assertion that this is Denny's Otter Cafe
Yes.
that we're about to enter?
We're
that,
just
like,
Denny's Odd Cafe is right there.
Like
We
I have,
put
like I have
Denny
a
in
feeling
this
like
thing.
shit is definitely about to go down in this cafe, but this is Denny's Otter Cafe for all intents and purposes.
For all intents and purposes, Denny is here at the cafe, owning
Denny's
it.
at the counter.
At the counter, just like this tiny otter in like an apron and everything, just like, may I take your order?
Denny is officially Norwegian now. apparently.
Norwegian otter. Oh, put a picture of a Norwegian otter. I don't think they exist. It's just an otter in a coat.
If you can't find an actual Norwegian otter, just put a picture of like one of Denny's PNGs in like some like standard Norwegian outfit.
No, not even. Just the word Norwegian on him.
It was deserted, apart from a solitary figure, a possum guy sitting at a table with a cup in front of him. He seemed to be absorbed in a book. No idea if he was a local or not, but given that this is where we were supposed to meet, I figured it was a good bet he was here for the same reason I was. I guess it was good that it was just the one guy. If I'd stumbled upon a whole group, I might have lost my nerve at so many new faces. So this possum
Aw.
guy is the guy that was on the cover for the game, by the way.
Ooh. Wait, the one that we
The one-
saw in the
one
intro?
with the one that was like the one that was like tracing the boat
blood?
and like the
Whoa.
blood stain. That's this guy. I'm
Oh
pretty
my
certain.
god. Let's go.
With the final draw in my smoke, I stubbed it out on a bin and pushed the door open. Don't litter, kids. Don't.